As a child, I grew up and I knew that there was something wrong with the church. I could not only feel it, but I could see it. I could see that their teachings weren't good. They were technically bad people, evil people in some cases. I started out life in a ghetto with an extremely damaged mother. My mother came from an all girls home and she's damaged. Um, I don't have one good memory of being happy around her. She's truly damaged. We started out life in the ghetto, and she ended up marrying a mechanic. And this mechanic came from a wealthy, Christian family that goes to church all the time, yet they were truly bad, evil people. They did bad things all the time. And I always thought there was something wrong with the church, not just society. So, this Candace Owens video is, I just want you guys to have an open mind. Just have an open mind to what I'm showing you right now. And I try to explain to you, there's many people talking about this at the moment, but I want to explain to you what's going on and who's corrupted the church.
I was flooded with emails of people going, yeah, my pastor said this on Sunday, my pastor said this on Sunday about you and Tucker. Here's just a little montage. We didn't want to make it too long, but a little montage of what's going on in dispensationalist churches. Take a listen.
Anti-Semitism is just exploding in the church. The ignorance is exploding. Conservative voices, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Mark Dice, they don't get it. They say God's done with Israel.
Some of you listening to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, and these guys are anti-Semitic. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to say it. They're anti-Semitic, and their rhetoric is dangerous.
Maybe you're familiar with Candace Owens. Candace was someone 3-4 years ago I was so impressed by. Smart, articulate, generally, has a more conservative worldview. But she has gone off the rails. She is a full-blown anti-Semitic, Jew-hating person. And her theology is a part of that.
And he asked Ted Cruz, the first question, what's the population of Iran? I don't know. What's the favorite flower of the Iranians? What's the national animal for Iran? Well, how does that change anything, Tucker, about them going nuclear? It's like Tucker's asking Luke's.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you guys would be able to figure out what's going on here. Is that the military industrial complex? Okay, we're going to step above anti-Semitism. We're going to step above what the average sheep are now starting to see. The military industrial complex corrupted the churches so that they can manipulate weak minds and convince them to get permission for these wars. That's basically it. So a lot of these pastors, they're not real pastors. They don't believe in the church. They're not Christians. They're in fact just working for the military industrial complex to get consent for wars. And anti-Semitism pushes that. This last guy here, when you listen to what he just said, it's pure propaganda that would just come out of someone working for ASPI. It's exactly what it is. And there's no critical thinking here at all. These are not pastors thinking for themselves. These are pastors that have been given an email or a call or a text message from whoever's funding them in the military industrial complex. So if you go to church, it's highly likely that your pastor is corrupted. But I would say most of them are in the United States. So why would a Christian pastor someone leading the church care about anti-Semitism? They wouldn't. The same way you never hear them talking about Islamophobia over the last 30 years. I grew up on a steady diet of Islamophobia to the point where we had a crazy guy from, I think it was, where was he from? He was from Townsville? No, he was from Bathurst. I forgot exactly. It was up in Queensland. Some crazy dude grabbed all these machine guns. He went to New Zealand and he went on a shooting rampage and he filmed it. He put a GoPro on his head and he went and murdered Muslims in mosques. Now, that is someone who was easily brainwashed, probably given a whole bunch of drugs. It might have even been a CIA op. But that guy couldn't think for himself. He believed the churches, he believed the media, and he went on a murder rampage. All I've done my entire life, all I've seen, all I've been exposed to is you need to hate the Muslims. That's all I've been taught my entire life. The media, social media, every politician, it's all one-way traffic. And if any of these Christian leaders had any objective thought in their minds, they would at least see that first if they're going to protect any other religion. You never hear them talking about the Dalai Lama and the CCP taking all of their land. You don't hear about the Tibetans. You don't hear about peace from these people. What you hear is, oh, Muslims bad, we need to kill them. and that should open up everybody's eyes to the type of scum that are heading your churches. And this is why when you look at the Bible, and the last couple of years before I left Australia, things started to happen. I know I've heard of crazy people say, oh, I had a vision, I saw something, but legitimate things happened that I saw. And over the last couple of years, I started to see these things more clearly. And that's why on this channel I've started to say, look, I'm starting to see it looks like we're living in a simulation. And then that evolved into me looking at the Bible. And that started, it got to the point where I started praying every day. And then it got to the point where I started being, in a way, shown things that I'd never really seen before. I know that sounds batshit crazy, but being able to go, okay, this is going to happen, and then it happens, is kind of like evidence that whoever's showing you these things is kind of trying to prove something to you. And these pastors, when you have a look at them, they are legit working for the military industrial complex. They are. And you look at the Australian Christian lobby. They're not Christians. They're clearly not Christians. They are these people. They're working for the military industrial complex. 100%. I'm 100% certain, because you look at the rhetoric and the bullshit coming out of that Twitter account. Absolute scumbag pieces of shit they are. And same as all of these pastors. It doesn't matter what you think about Candace Owens. But then next thing you know, Candace Owens is banned from entering Australia. Kanye West is banned from entering Australia. Anyone that criticizes Israel is banned from Australia. So is Australia a Christian country, or are all the pretend Christians actually working for Israel? So then we can get into geopolitics, and it's really the military industrial complex. Okay, so it's not really Zionism, and it's not really the Jews. There's something behind them. And the thing behind them is the military industrial complex. And the military industrial complex, what's behind them? The bankers. Okay, so who is really in control? Who cares? The point is, the reason why you're starting to see these things is because the people behind the military industrial complex are only allowing you to see it. Believe it or not, 5 years ago or more, I tried talking about these topics, but I would have my videos taken down, okay? I've got evidence of that. I had videos taken down and I was given strikes, and I just experimented with uploading unlisted videos that no one saw, and then YouTube would then punish this channel hardcore. How dare you say anything about Israel? Because when you become an expert in geopolitics, Israel pops up quite often, believe it or not. So now we're able to talk about it. Why? because the bankers behind the military-industrial complex have realized that they cannot protect Israel anymore. So now you can talk about it. We can have a more open discussion about these things. These pastors at the front line, they haven't got the memo yet, because they're, as I was taught a long time ago when I was investigated by the Australian government for making accurate predictions on the stock market, one of those bankers explained to me the bridge of shit. If you're close to the bank, you have the best knowledge on how the world works. If you are watching a YouTube channel like you are right now, it depends on who the person is. I would say that I'm able to dig deep into the bridge of shit to get more accurate information. But right at your end, the newspapers, TVs, anything that you should sample for free, and that's why you should become a member of this channel, join, become an insider, is it's all shit at that end. You're reading the newspaper, it has nothing to do with what's really going on in the world, you see? If you're looking at free TV, 7, 9, 10, you're watching Sky News, God forbid, you know, you're at the wrong end of the information. You're just getting fed propaganda. Okay? So I just want you guys to open up your minds, because realizing that the people who you put your faith in were just lying to you all the time, that can really break some people. It can also break some people with the realization that their church was a lie, and everything coming out of it was just propaganda, and it was funded by the bankers that fund the military-industrial complex. And these scumbags getting up there have so many important things to talk about, like the rising costs, inflation, property prices, cost of living just getting out of control, crime in the streets. None of these pastors care about those things. They only care about stealing more of your money through your banks with your consent to send to more wars that in fact create more inflation and destroy your standard of living. And I think a lot of the people that follow this channel are fully aware of that. And there's also been some documentaries that have come out that have explained that they needed to manufacture consent. And this is why in the early days I just abused you guys, and I was really aggressive, and sorry about that. I just say 50% of society has an IQ under 100, and so you're all retards. I'd say things like that. And that's because the consent comes from you. You give them consent to destroy your country, and you don't have to give that consent. And you don't have to live to criminal pastors like this that are lying to you. But anyway, that's my take on things for today.